Hey everybody, it's Alexa, and I have a great idea for a video for Vlogtober, and I've jotted down some notes. And I want to talk today about KonMari method and how it's changed my financial life. So I've written down 11 points of how KonMari has affected my financial life. So for the first point, I want to share a phrase that Marie Kondo says in The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up that has stuck with me. And let me read you the passage. She says, small change. Make into my wallet your motto. And I totally use this. She says, do you have loose change lying around, a penny or two in the bottom of your purse, a dime in the back of a drawer, a quarter on the table? I always find coins when I'm helping clients put their house in order. The king of the komono category, coins can be found in the entrance hall, the kitchen, the living room, the washroom, on top of furniture, and inside drawers. Despite the fact that coins are perfectly good cash, they are treated with far less respect than paper money. It seems strange that they should be left lying around the house when they are of no use at all. Whenever my clients come across loose change during tidying, I make sure it goes straight into their wallets, never into a piggy bank. Unlike the other categories, you don't need to gather coins from every part of your house. Instead, just pop them into your wallet whenever you stumble on them. If you put them in a piggy bank, you are simply transferring the place where they will be ignored. People who have lived in the same house for a long time are particularly prone to forgetting about their little cache of coins. Frankly, no one I've met who saved pennies without a clear purpose has ever actually used them. If you are saving coins with the vague idea that it would be nice to see how many you can accumulate, now is the time to take them to the bank. The longer you wait, the heavier your cash will be and the more bother to take it to the bank. I've also noticed that for some unfathomable reason, many of my clients start saving coins in bags when their piggy bank is full. Years later during my course, they stumble across a bag bursting with coins in the back of a cupboard. By that time, it is pungent with the smell of rust and mold. The coins are discolored and they make a dull clinking sound instead of jingling. At this point, my clients would rather just ignore the bag's existence. Writing this description is hard enough, but to actually see these coins, stripped of their dignity as money, is heartrending. I beg you to rescue those forgotten coins wasting away in your home by adopting the motto, into my wallet. So I have totally adopted this motto, and I'll tell you what, my husband and my boys, they deposit coins left and right in the house, and I have just gotten into the habit. I put the coins in my purse. So we do have a penny jar, and I already am in the habit of taking that occasionally to anywhere that has a Coinstar machine and getting an iTunes card for it usually, but I definitely follow the into my wallet. What I say in my head is I say, get in my wallet. And I do think it's a practice of awareness and gratitude. So my second point has to do with saving. And yesterday I reviewed a tool that I've been using called Digit, an app. What I like about it is it's kind of similar to the saving coins concept. It's a way of paying yourself first and saving sort of inconspicuous amounts of money that add up pretty quickly. So I've saved over $200 since starting it September 1st. Anyway, you can see my really quick review yesterday. I don't know how I found the Digit app. I was looking for ways to save, and I've seen various savings challenges, weekly challenges. I was talking to my kids about saving as well. And, there's weekly challenges, a 52-week challenge, where you save, a dollar more every week, or you can do it in reverse and save $52 the first week and a dollar less every week. And there's different ways to save different amounts. And, they're all very logical, but as Dave Ramsey says, when we get into credit card debt, we're not thinking logically. So in a way, it's good to use the magical and inspired thinking to get ourselves out of debt. And again, that's a way that I think KonMari has helped me because I've become so much more conscious and organized about my thinking and so much more aware. There's just so much less of that sort of overwhelmed sense of having so many things and you don't even know what you have and you're confused as to the value of things, that it really spills over into your financial life. That leads me to my third point, which is that clutter costs. Clutter costs you money. It costs you time, space, money, opportunity, and joy. It was joy at a time. There was a time when it gave you something that you needed. It gave you joy. It gave you sustenance, it covered you, it kept you warm, it was a gift, it gave you a feeling of love, or gave you knowledge, gave you health, whatever the thing that gave you, that time is past. And so when you continue to hold it, the clutter is just costing you. And I think, you know, the opportunity cost is a big one. And I'm more decisive too. Like I've noticed, this is a stupid example, but like on emails, like I'm just like, doop, send. Okay, point 4 is no swag. So this past couple of weeks, I have gone to 2 big conferences. I've been working at these conferences, and normally, you know, I would get a ton of swag at the conference, and you know, I mean, that's still fun. I really enjoy it. At this point, I feel like I've gotten all the swag I needed to get, you know? And allow me to say that KonMari also addresses swag. She says she has a section right before the Into My Wallet section. She says, free novelty goods. A cell phone screen cleaner that came with a soda bottle, a ball pen engraved with your school's name, a paper fan you got at an event, a set of plastic cups won at a fair, glasses bearing a beer company's logo, Post-it stamp with a pharmaceutical company's name, a folder with just 5 sheets of blotting paper, a promotional calendar still in its tube, a pocket calendar unused after 6 months into the year. None of these are going to bring you any pleasure. Discard or recycle them without any qualms. So there's KonMari on swag, on conference swag. Point 5, stockpiling. And this is, again, a great point that KonMari says, and it ties into money. We do it perhaps out of a sense of scarcity, or a sense that we got a good deal on something, or a sense that we are saving money. But KonMari addresses this point, and she really crushes this myth. First of all, she gives a lot of examples of ridiculous stockpiles that you could never finish up using. Somebody who had a huge 30 boxes of plastic kitchen wrap. Somebody had 60 toothbrushes. But she says, her clients, even though they owned a huge stockpile, they always felt they didn't have enough and were anxious about running out. For people who stockpile, I don't think there's any amount that would make them feel secure. The more they have, the more they worry about running out, and the more anxious they become. Even though they still have 2 left, they will go out and buy 5 more. Unlike a shop, if you run out of something at home, it's not a big deal. It may cause you a temporary stress, but it does no irreparable damage. But how should we handle these stockpiles? Although the best solution would appear to be just use all the items up, in many cases they are past their expiration date and must be thrown out. I highly recommend that you get rid of excess stock at once. All at once. Give it away to friends who need it, recycle it, or take it to a donation shop. You may think this is a waste of money, but reducing your stock and relieving yourself of the burden of excess is the quickest and most effective way to put your things in order. Once you've experienced the freedom of a life without surplus stock, you won't want to give it up and will naturally stop stockpiling. My clients tell me that life is more fun because when they run out of something, they enjoy seeing how long they can last without it or trying to substitute other things. It's important to assess what you have on hand now and eliminate excess. So point 6 of the ways KonMari has changed my financial life: not shopping. I don't want to be too self-congratulatory about this because, you know, the holiday season is coming, and certainly I'm not immune to seeing shiny, pretty, warm, fluffy things and wanting them. But I do feel like I have changed, can even sort of go to a store and even take pleasure in looking at the things and being inspired and then not buying them. And I also have a little mind hack that I've started to feel, which is, if I want something, and then I'll just kind of try to think about, well, how could I do it without buying anything new? How could I have that thing without buying anything new? And, it works with fashion, it works with home decor, definitely. Even with music gear, I will, research something, and I guess, again, this is an influence of the KonMari method. I'll think, well, first I need to sell, whatever the piece of gear that I'm replacing is, and then, look at what's new, and then maybe, buy it used on Craigslist, because you can always find great music gear, for much less on Craigslist. Point number 7, KonMari talks about how the method will change your life sort of in unexpected ways, kind of by breaking through things that were holding you back, and, whether it's finding a perfect house or a perfect mate or the job you always wanted or the life change you always wanted. Well, a funny thing is that, but one thing that was kind of ironic was that I was working on my office space and turning it into a home studio. I realized that I didn't want to work at home anymore. So I started working at a co-working spot. And I really credit a lot of my financial improvement of this year, aside of the fact that I think the economy is much better. I also credit it to, working at this co-working spot, because it's like a gym, but for working. So you go there and everybody's working. And it's just super freaking inspiring. You know, it just gets, you know, I go in there, it's like I'm on crack. I'm blasting through emails, you know, I'm answering clients, I'm meeting deadlines. The one thing I haven't been able to do, that I kind of have this vision of myself going in there with my little keyboard, my little music keyboard, piano keyboard, and like fixing my charts and stuff like that. But I'm actually kind of embarrassed because I'm just going in there and doing my writing business in there. Point 8, fixing my credit and paying down debt. This is another way that KonMari has influenced me. Now the goal is to sort of fix some of the debt that's accumulated from those bad years. You know, I'm also using sort of the Dave Ramsey approach. I'm doing a debt snowball. So this brings me to point 9, which is awareness. And that again is a KonMari effect. You become aware of everything that you have, aware of what you have purchased and why, aware of your, you know, letting go of things, and just being very conscious of the energy and life force in the things that you're surrounding yourself with, and the messages and the things that you're surrounding yourself with. I know I'm rambling right now, but the point is money should flow. And I think flow is a concept that you can attribute to KonMari, the flow of things into and out of our lives. Moving on to point 10, flow. This is dovetailing perfectly, cash flow. And as a self-employed person, this is something that I started to become aware of a couple of years ago. And it's not rocket science, but what can I say? It took me a while to figure this out. Cash flow. It's all about the cash flow. And, you know, that's, again, what I'm trying to do now. And I think I feel like I've learned that from the KonMari method is, you know, consistency rather than bursts. And I noticed that about myself, that, like, for instance, I'll make money and then I'm like, yes, I want to pay off all the credit cards. The problem is, because I do that, now next month I don't have any money because I paid off all the credit cards. So then I add up, you know, more stuff on the credit cards. And like the initial purge that you do with KonMari, after you're done with that, you start to have just a normal flow, one in, one out, you know. New clothes, okay, get rid of the old clothes. It doesn't have to be hoard, purge. You just do that once and then you become aware. It really is the magic that she talks about. So my last point is point number 11. We are at 11, magic 11, is gratitude. And that is something that I have learned from the KonMari method. You could not find somebody who seems to be less impressed by actual possessions than KonMari. Like she really, I think she really gets to the heart of what they are. You know, they represent sort of emotional energy, and then maybe the energy of creating them, and the utilitarian energy. But she doesn't seem to be at all influenced by the perceived status of certain possessions. And so when you just reduce everything down to sparking joy, then you don't need as much. You really don't need as much. And it also, you know, gratitude helps things flow to you. It helps you give to others who need what you have and no longer need. Gratitude also helps you resist the siren song of consumerism. And I had this insight like a few months ago. You know, I was talking to my husband, we were talking about paying down debt, and I finally got all the credit cards lined up. And then I was looking at the names of these cards. And have you ever done this? Have you ever looked at the names of your credit cards? Freedom, Liberty, Platinum, Gold, Diamond, you know, Preferred, Elite, you know. But the ones that really get me are the Freedom. And it's, oh my goodness, it's the opposite of freedom. I'm not against debt, by the way. I think you can do some great things with debt. Some great movies have been made with debt. I think there's good debt. But, you know, a credit card is not good debt, generally. A credit card is bad debt. It's just ironic, right? What they call themselves. They're not freedom, and they're not liberty. You know, they're a noose around your neck. So I hope these 11 points of how KonMari has affected my life are helpful to you. I know this is a long video. I went on and on. All right. Please share your experiences with KonMari and your financial life. Bye.